Okay, so let's get rid of that instant on feature that I really don't think is a smart idea on a radio like this by any means. And that's an easy thing to do. We just go in and snip out. Oops. Snip out this guy right here. There he is. So that'll end that instant on feature, which if you plug this radio in and left it for a year, it would be running for a whole year. Yes, it'll lower everything in terms of power, but nevertheless, the thing would be running. That's one of the dirty little secrets about instant on, is everything that was instant on in your house was mostly television sets. They're all running. About maybe quarter power, something like that. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this guy. I don't think he's needed. It's probably not helping with this great big capacitor here. How big is that capacitor? How big is that capacitor? I think it says 160 volts. That's not quite enough. And hey, where's your rating? Where's the rating? What? Am I blind to something here? Oh. There it is. 100 microfarads. 100 microfarads. Ooh. That's a big whopper, and I know why this is in here. Because if you look at the speaker plug, which is back with the speaker plug has 4 pins. Now it only has 2 wires coming out of it going up to the speaker. But if you look more closely, it's got 2 more wires that have been cut flush on the plug. I don't think I showed you this specifically, but I noticed it while I was looking at it. And those are all clues, and the fact that the speaker appears new, the speaker transformer doesn't appear, the output transformer doesn't appear to be original. You put all that together and what you get is somebody replaced a speaker with a field coil on it for a speaker without a field coil, and then to compensate for the removal of the field coil being an important component in the radio's power supply filter, he's upped the size of the filter capacitor enormously. And the result is, the radio still hums. He may have changed this, and I may be a little mistaken here about how this is wired up. Yeah, there's a little more going on here now that I look at it. So it looks like this is the primary first capacitor, and then beyond this resistor is the second capacitor. And this resistor is sitting where the field coil was probably originally connected. It's a 1500 ohm, I make that out to be 2 watt resistor sitting there. The 1500 ohms are roughly the resistance of the field coil. Sounds a little high to me, but I'm not sure myself about replacing a field coil with a resistor. I'd have to read up on how you set the value. So assumably the guy who did this knew a lot of what he was doing. But I think it may have left this radio humming, or this second filter capacitor actually isn't doing much. And if we just replace this guy, we'll be in business. Now you know what? I did get a schematic. And I've left it in my office. Let me go get it here. And I will be posting a link to this schematic with the video that I'm just uploading right now, the previous video to this one. So you'll have access to this schematic. And I think this is covering quite a few radios. I think there's one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. It's a lot of radios. And it says right on it, Simplex Radio Company. And what I learned, and no one's 100% sure, the Simplex Radio Company was a small operation that only lasted a few years in the late 1930s. Produced a few models of radios, and they all had a very characteristic front on them. This radio definitely has that front, the dial in that. I saw a photograph of the identical chassis in a different cabinet. The cabinet was more vertical with the speaker up above the chassis, but the four knobs were arranged exactly the same. This looked exactly the same. It looked like it had more bands in it, frankly. And I see that this says models GH, GHE, and Model Q. And over here it's got Model AA, Models G, GE. So my guess is this little radio company, which obtained permission from all those guys I read on the back here. I read on this on the plate on the back. Got permission from all those companies to utilize their technologies and produce this very stylish radio in a few different models. And I'm guessing this is the only model, the only real chassis they ever produced. I'm guessing. And they were in business for 3 years, and the big guys probably crushed them. I don't know. Who knows? So one of these schematics fits the radio I have in front of me. And I'm just looking at them now, and trying to spot who's got a field coil and who doesn't. It's not readily apparent that way. I have to study them a little more closely. So anyway, we do have some schematic information, and I'm lucky because I think this is a very, very rare radio. And we're going to take really good care of it for that purpose, for that reason rather. So man, that's a lot of talk without me doing anything except cutting out a diode. Maybe we should just leave the power supply as it is right now and work with the reason the radio, hunt down for the real reason the radio doesn't work at all, which is the apparently at this point no high voltage supply to this tube back here. Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna have to figure out which one of these radios is which one of these schematics is the right radio. There's a note here. What's the note say? Switches on both models shown for something or other position used 1000 ohm per volt meter. Yeah, this is such an old radio that at that time the test equipment guys were using were really quite crude, using crude meters, and those meters needed power to operate, to make the pointer move. They needed power. They needed a fair bit of power relative to what's going on in a radio like this. In some cases, you could take your voltmeter, and when you connect it up, you disturb the circuit so much the radio no longer works the way it's supposed to, and the reading you get is bogus. And how would you know that? The only reason you'd know that is you're a skilled repair guy used to working with clunky old instruments, and I'm sure this was no secret back then, or little notes like this that would tell you what kind of instrument you needed to get the voltages they got, because the guys doing this were also using crummy instruments. So if you're going to get the same reading, you got to use the same instrument. But today, that's not the case. Today, all of our modern voltmeters and stuff like this draws almost no power from the circuit it's testing and doesn't disturb it very much anyway. Okay. Now, let's see. Yeah, next step is which radio is this? Oh boy. I'm going to stop the video at this point because I think this is going to be a bit of a process here. And I'll let you know what I figure out a little bit. Okay, so I haven't quite figured it out, but I've been able to eliminate a number of these radios. And I'll show you how I'm doing it. So first of all, this one here, this is a battery operated radio. It's just loaded with batteries. No power supply, so it can't be that. Okay, so we look at this one over here. This one has a line, a wire coming out of it. It says A+. So somewhere on here there's probably one that says B+ also, I think. OZ4. Oh, an OZ4. What is an OZ4 tube? So I think this is a battery operated one. More importantly, it does show, this looks like some kind of power supply here, so I'm not exactly sure why they have an A+ over here. Not sure at all. Model Q. Anyway, it's got a coil, choke coil right here in the power supply. I don't think that's the radio. If we go up to this one up here, we see right in the power supply here a field coil. So now this radio, I believe, had a field coil on the speaker. This is possibly the radio here. We come down here. Here's the power supply again. Lots of filtering in this power supply. And there is a choke coil. And there's the speaker. So it has a choke coil, it's not using the field coil as a choke coil. This is not the radio. And we come down here, and we find right here, what looks like they're doing some strange things in this circuit diagram. It says filter choke. And here's the speaker. 2500 ohm field coil written right there. So this one has a field coil. This one has a field coil. It's one of these two radios. Now, which one is it? That's where I got to. It's a model G or a model. What? Who? Oh, what is it? I think I know what this cat is interested in. What do you want there, Peanut? Peanut is Draper's buddy. Peanut doesn't appear on camera very much. Peanut, come here. Come here. Make your debut up here. Come on. Okay, here comes Peanut for his shop debut. Here he comes. He's gonna go up there. Okay, and now with the cat helping me, and there's no power in the radio, I assure you. I wouldn't let him be up here. Come on, fur guy. Keep moving. Come on, keep moving. Nothing like having your radio video turn into a cat video. And now I'm totally distracted from what I was doing here. Oh yeah, so we're figuring out which one of these two. We're going to figure out which one of these two. Now, how different are they? Maybe they're not terribly different. Yeah, this one's got a 6A7 at the front, and then this one's got a 1C6. Oh, 1C6, I think I'm always 1 volt. Yeah, these are all 1 volt tubes in this radio. Well, I don't think that's what we see here, is it? I can't imagine that. Let's look at the output tube. Sometimes the output tube is the giveaway, or any one of the tubes can be the giveaway as to which. So this is a 43. What do you think of that? Yeah. Now you're not going to get a good rub off smooth glass there, Kate. 43. Have a look at, let's see. 40. It's 40 something on here. Can you see it, Peanut? 40. Come on. Okay. One little head rub. Well, I see 42 on the upper schematic, which I can't. This one here, upper one. I see a 42. I see a 43 down here, but this one has a. Yeah, this has a field coil with a 43 output tube. Hey! Bite it! Come on! I think I have to go and let him out the door because he's driving me nuts here. That's what he wants, isn't it? You're very quiet. You're not saying anything to the. Hey, look at that! 1,000 people are going to see you on this video. The least you could do is meow for them. No, I just want to go outside, he says. So I'm going to do that. I'll take him outside here. Okay, so I apologize to all you hardcore radio people who could care less about cats, but that's what comes along here. So let's just figure it out now. We think it's either this one or this one, and it's wet here where he bit my schematic. So there's the 43. Look at the funny thing they do on this schematic. You'll have to look at the copy that I've made available on the link on my in the description of the video before this one. Maybe I'll put it in this one too. Some of the tubes have a circle drawn around them, as everybody's used to seeing. In other tubes, they don't bother with the circle. What's that all about? And it's all through this. So I don't know why they do that. Why would they not draw a circle around some of the tubes? Oh, the things I worry about. So there's the 43. There's the field coil. I think for now we'll go and we'll say this is model G. I don't know if that's an M or an H there. Looks like GM. Another warning about using a 1000 ohm per volt meter on this. So the tube in question then would the tube that's getting no B plus apparently. Let's see. This is the output tube here. 6F5. No, 43. Oh, there I see. I'm being fooled because I'm looking at the circles, and I'm forgetting some of these tubes have no circles. Maybe I should draw the circles in. So there's the output tube, the one I have right here. And the next tube behind it, or before it, is 6F5, a triode. And that's almost certainly the tube that's not getting any B+. And thank you, they have not written the pin numbers on here, so I have to get out my my book here. 6F5. Now let me stop the video for a minute. I think I have a better opportunity here to show the schematic. We'll see what we can find out. 6X5. And did I get my book? Here it is. Six F. What did I say? 6F5. Mr. Short, 6F5. I get these things mixed up in my head while I'm in here because I'm thinking of too many things at once. I can easily transpose letters and all kinds of stuff. So here we are, 6F5. Metal type, class octal type. I think this is a metal type in here. I do believe so. No, it's a great big tall tube there. Let's pull it out and double check that we're on the right track here in case I'm not. Oh, base is loose on this. What's that say there? What does that say? K38B2? What the heck is that? K38B2. What is this thing? And you know what? It looks like, you know what, this looks like a ballast tube to me. And if we were to open it up, all you'd find inside is basically a heater element. And all it's doing is burning up some excess voltage, if I can put it that way. You can't burn voltage, by the way. But burning it up anyway, to ensure all the other tubes have the right B+. There's nothing like that on this schematic, I don't think. It would be, grid cap here. Grid cap with almost no slack in the wire. This is a really heavily shielded tube. I mean, there's almost no exposure anywhere on it. There it goes. Goat, New York. Hey, it's got some writing on it. What is that? Let's take a look at this. I think it says common. Yeah, that looks upside down to me there. Or C-A-R-M-E-N, Carmen. Why would somebody scratch something onto the surface of this? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take this off here. We just have to remove this retaining clip here. Okay, get down here. Patent pending. I wonder if they ever got their patent on this. Take this apart and we'll look inside, and it's a 75. It's a 75. How does that fit? 75. Well, I'm sorry I'm showing it this way, but I got it. It says 76 here. It says 76 here. Where am I going to find a 75? Oh man, maybe this isn't the right schematic at all. If it's not exactly right, it's probably close. One of these. But I don't see a 75. Wow, it's hard to spot the tubes because they didn't draw circles around them. I should go ahead and draw the circles. You know, there's a 76 here in the right spot. No, it's not. That's a... yeah. I don't know what's going on. I'm out of control. I've lurched totally out of control here. Okay, well let's leave that aside for now. We'll put this tube back in. There's no reason to have it out. Back into its metal tube here. It might be the first time this guy's been out of his shell since ever. Oh, I get so emotional. Oh, hey, a great discovery here. Okay, can't say I've seen this before. Let's take a look at this. Interesting thing. It's not the handiest thing necessarily, but I pulled the tube out, and then when you look inside, look, tube number. Tube number 75. And here's the mystery one. K38B2. That's exactly what it says on the tube. Okay, well, now, maybe the reason I didn't find B plus on this tube is there shouldn't be any. I'm gonna have to, you know, I think if this tube is a ballast tube, it's just a resistor, and fancy resistor. Oh, I got this tube shield on in the wrong spot here. I'm gonna get that in there. Phooey, take it out. I don't want to skid the tube shield around the glass tube. Because it may scrape off the number 75. So we'll loosen it up. Twist it. And I'll put it back in. Hopefully that's enough twisting. There we go. Stick them back in. For these shields to work right, they have to be grounded. There's some pretty strong clips on here that are engaging with it. As soon as I figure out how to put it back in. That way. I'm looking to see if it's got like two larger pins, which it seems to have. It looks to me like it for sure it's supposed to go in this way. There it goes. The difference in the pin sizes isn't all that great. So easy to get fooled. Put the cap back on. There she is, all back in place. Put the 43 back in because it's less likely to get damaged in the radio than rolling around on my bench. Where does that leave us? It leaves us wondering why this radio is not working. Now there's two indications now that this isn't the right schematic, because I don't see this ballast tube showing up anywhere. Or is it I just don't understand how they've drawn it on here. I don't know, let's take a look at the schematic again just for a brief moment. A7. It's right on the other end. Oh, here's another complicated tuning piece. I hadn't even noticed that before. So this tube, let's see, 6K7 is the second one in line. The second one in line, 6K7. And take care of a few other matters in life before I return to try to sort out why this radio is not working.